This is Faculty Focus from Fairleigh Dickinson University. This episode features Dr. Paulette Laubsch, Associate Professor of Administrative Science. Dr. Laubsch explains what makes great leaders, and she defines the essence of leadership.
In the past 30 or 40 years, people have been talking about something called emotional intelligence. And it has been looking at those traits that you have, but also being aware of the traits that your followers may have. And so I have to be attuned to how they are and what they're doing. This is something that you can learn, and a lot of people don't really understand it. When you walk into a room, do you know how other people feel? And sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. When you come across people, you know whether they're happy or sad or things that are impacting them. And emotional intelligence means that I can understand that and be able to deal with the person who has those issues. So it's kind of an important concept, and not enough people really study it. Listening is critical. I have to be able to listen. And a lot of times people are sitting there saying, I know what he's going to ask, and I'm formulating my response to the question before it even comes out of his mouth or her mouth. And that gets to be problematic because I'm not really listening. I've already made up my mind. Being able to address the audience, whatever level they are at, so that they understand what you're trying to say. So those are critical, important things that people have to know. Most of the time, people will follow someone who has demonstrated that they have a knowledge of a particular area. There are times when we assign somebody in a leadership position and they really may not have those skills. But what they have done is bring along with them people who have those skills, so that sort of negates that part. But in a normal situation, you want somebody who's been there and knows something about the situation that you're going to be in. So those competence levels are things that people assess. Are you competent? Do you know what you're talking about? And some people lose a lot of credibility based on that fact. You can help people first of all, do their assessment of themselves. What do they find that are their strengths and weaknesses? And they really have to start building on their strengths. And when you look at what is it that I do very well, some of those things will help propel you to be a leader. Many people don't understand that leadership occurs all over the place. You could be a leader in your family and take a leadership role, and yet you may not want to be a leader in an organization. Or you could be a leader in a church or any of these other occupational areas or avocational areas. So being a leader doesn't mean I'm just a political leader or a leader in the military. There are lots of different roles for leaders across the gamut of occupations. Sometimes there are people who did not assume the position of a leader. They were sort of like pushed there because somebody else who was a follower said to them, well, we want you to do A, B, and C. The one that comes to mind is Mother Teresa, because I just find it amazing that this very petite person decided that she wanted to go to India, where she didn't speak the language, and she wanted to help the poor. And other people saw her doing this and became her followers, and therefore she became a leader. I don't think she assumed that position. I don't think that that's one of the things she had planned in her future. So I think it's more situational. And when we look through our history, there's a lot of people who, based on the situation, became a good leader. There are some that you sometimes wonder how they got there, but a certain situation happened and this person emerged. So I think that's an important concept that we all have to think about.